Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and think about the last time you did something for yourself. Something that wasn't for approval, for recognition, or because someone else told you it was the right thing to do. Now imagine how it felt. How often do we get lost in the expectations of others, the desires to please, or the pressure to conform? We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by comparisons, judgments, and opinions that pull us in every direction. But let me ask you this, who is living your life? Who is waking up every morning in your shoes, facing your struggles and chasing your dreams? You are. And yet, how many times have we placed other people's voices, opinions, and standards above our own? How many times have we ignored our own desires because we were afraid of what others might think, or worse, because we thought our dreams weren't worth the effort unless someone else validated them? Too often, we find ourselves living according to the expectations of others, whether it's the pressure to meet societal standards, the influence of family and friends, or the comparison to peers. We can easily get lost in trying to please everyone but ourselves. We chase after dreams that aren't truly our own, follow paths that don't resonate with us, and make choices based on what others will think or say. The problem with this is simple. When you focus on someone else's vision for your life, you lose sight of your own desires, your own purpose, and your own happiness. In the pursuit of success, it's easy to fall into the trap of living for others. It might seem harmless at first, driven by a desire to make those around you proud or to meet the expectations of those who love you. However, over time, this begins to create a disconnect between who you truly are and the person you're trying to become for the sake of others. You begin to live for approval, validation, and external recognition, often sacrificing your own peace, joy, and personal satisfaction in the process. It's easy to get caught in this cycle, but it's also deeply unsatisfying. It's a life lived according to someone else's terms, and while you may find fleeting moments of success or happiness, you'll always feel like something is missing. When you focus on your own dreams, you empower yourself to live authentically. Your dreams are the reflection of your unique passions, interests, and talents. No one else shares your exact experiences, your exact worldview, or your exact combination of skills and gifts. When you set goals based on what truly excites you, what moves you, and what aligns with your values, you connect more deeply with your purpose. You no longer live in a way that's trying to meet someone else's definition of success. Instead, you create your own. Choosing to focus on your own dreams means prioritizing your own desires, even when those around you may not understand or agree with them. It means being okay with the discomfort of stepping outside of societal norms, family expectations, or what is traditionally considered safe. When you make decisions based on your own vision for your life, you are giving yourself permission to take risks, make mistakes, and learn along the way. You understand that your journey may not look like anyone else's, but it's yours, and that's what makes it powerful. Living for your own dreams also allows you to build resilience. When your goals come from within, when they're tied to your own passions, there's a deeper sense of purpose that drives you forward, even in difficult times. You become less dependent on external approval or validation because you know your worth doesn't come from what others think of you. Instead, it comes from within. When things get tough, when setbacks occur, it's your internal drive and belief in your own vision that keeps you going. It's also essential to recognize that living for your own dreams doesn't mean shutting out others or ignoring their needs. It doesn't mean being selfish in a negative sense, but rather it's about being true to yourself first. You can only be the best version of yourself for others when you honor your own needs and desires. When you make your own dreams a priority, you are creating a foundation of happiness, fulfillment, and authenticity that positively impacts all of your relationships, both personal. In a world that often promotes comparison, staying focused on your own path is an act of radical self-respect. It's easy to fall into the trap of looking at others and feeling inadequate or jealous, but comparison is a thief of joy. Everyone's journey is unique, and when you constantly compare yourself to others, you rob yourself of the opportunity to celebrate your own progress. By focusing on your own dreams, you give yourself permission to celebrate your own success, however big or small, without worrying about how it stacks up against someone else's. You create space for your own achievements to shine without the shadow of comparison looming over you. Finally, when you focus on your own dreams, you set the stage for a life that feels genuinely fulfilling. You stop chasing fleeting moments of external approval and begin to focus on what brings you true satisfaction. You no longer let the opinions and expectations of others define your worth. Instead, you define your own worth based on your values, passions, and the work you put into your goals. And in doing so, you open up a world of possibility, one where your dreams can come to life on your own terms. We often spend so much time seeking validation from others that we forget the most important person to impress is ourselves. In a world filled with opinions, expectations, and social comparisons, it can be easy to lose sight of who we truly are and what we truly want. The need for external approval can become overwhelming, especially when it seems like everyone has something to say about the choices we make. We can easily get caught up in trying to meet the expectations of others, whether it's from our family, friends, coworkers, or society at large. But the harsh reality is that if you are constantly trying to impress others, you will never be fully satisfied. You will always feel like something is missing because external validation is fleeting and it's never enough to truly fill the void that exists within. The key to living a fulfilling and authentic life lies in recognizing that you are the only person whose approval truly matters. No one else can define your worth or tell you what is right for you. This doesn't mean that you disregard the opinions or feelings of others completely, but it does mean that you stop allowing their judgments to dictate your path. You are the one who wakes up every day in your own skin, and you are the one who has to live with the consequences of your decision. Therefore, it only makes sense that the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. When you begin to recognize that your worth is not defined by the opinions or approval of others, you can start to focus on your own growth, desires, and well-being. Living with the mindset that you are enough, just as you are, is incredibly freeing. It means letting go of the need to constantly seek validation from the outside world. It means accepting your imperfections, understanding that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. The truth is, you are already enough. You have within you all the resources, talents, and potential to create the life you desire. Once you realize that, you can stop chasing after approval and start living your life in alignment with your true values and desires. It's also important to recognize that the pursuit of external validation often comes with a heavy cost. Constantly seeking approval can lead to feelings of anxiety, stress, and insecurity. You may find yourself overthinking every decision, second-guessing your actions, or adjusting your behavior to fit in with what others expect of you. This type of self-doubt can be paralyzing and keep you from taking the necessary steps toward your goals. When you rely on others' validation to feel good about yourself, your happiness becomes contingent on factors outside your control, making it unstable and fleeting. On the other hand, when you focus on impressing yourself, you take ownership of your happiness and well-being. You no longer wait for someone else to tell you that you're doing a good job or that you're making the right choices. Instead, you trust yourself. You begin to appreciate your own journey, knowing that each step you take, each challenge you overcome, and each success you achieve is a reflection of your own strength, resilience, and determination. You become your own biggest supporter and cheerleader, and that internal validation is far more powerful and sustainable than any external praise. Focusing on impressing yourself also encourages you to set goals that are truly aligned with your passions and values rather than what others expect of you. When you stop trying to please everyone else, you create the space to explore what truly excites you. Your ambitions no longer become a way to gain approval or recognition, but a way to honor your own potential. You begin to pursue things that genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment, and that sense of purpose becomes a driving force in your life. This shift in mindset doesn't mean that you become selfish or disregard the feelings of others. It simply means that you stop seeking approval at the cost of your own happiness. You stop letting external voices dictate your actions and instead take charge of your own destiny. When you start to live for yourself, you become more aligned with your true purpose. You begin to make decisions that are not based on what others think, but on what feels right for you. In this process, you also become a role model for others. When people see you living confidently and authentically, they are inspired to do the same. By prioritizing your own happiness and success, you show others that it's possible to live a life true to themselves, free from the need for constant validation from outside sources. You teach them that self-worth comes from within and that true fulfillment comes from living a life based on your own standards. This ripple effect can inspire a change in the lives of those around you, creating a more authentic and empowered community. Self-investment is often overlooked in a world that constantly demands our time, attention, and energy. We spend so much of our lives working for others, supporting those around us, and meeting external expectations that we neglect the most important investment we can make, the investment in ourselves. When we fail to invest in our own growth, both mentally and physically, we are ultimately limiting our potential. Investing in ourselves is not just about achieving success or gaining material wealth, but about building a solid foundation for our own well-being, happiness, and fulfillment. Without taking the time to nurture ourselves, we can quickly burn out, lose motivation, or feel unfulfilled, no matter how much we achieve externally. Taking time to invest in yourself is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It means committing to your own personal growth, whether it's through education, health, skills, or emotional development. It requires a mindset shift, one that prioritizes your needs and dreams above the demands and expectations of others. Self-investment is not selfish. Rather, it's a necessary act of self-care and self-respect. When you dedicate resources, time, energy, and sometimes money toward your own development, you create a stronger, more resilient version of yourself who is capable of facing the challenges life presents. Investing in yourself allows you to cultivate new skills, enhance your strengths, and overcome your weaknesses. Whether you're learning a new language, taking a course, or picking up a new hobby, you're expanding your capabilities and broadening your horizons. This personal development increases your confidence and self-belief. The more you invest in yourself, the more you realize what you're truly capable of, and that awareness becomes a driving force that propels you toward achieving even greater things. Self-investment doesn't just improve your skills, it also helps you tap into your passions, making you more aligned with your true purpose and desires. When you invest in yourself, you're taking deliberate steps toward creating the life you've always wanted, not just a life shaped by other people's expectations. In addition to intellectual and professional growth, investing in your physical and emotional health is equally important. Without good health, both mental and physical, all the success in the world loses its meaning. Making time for exercise, eating nourishing foods, and prioritizing sleep are all forms of self-investment that strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. The more you prioritize your health, the more energy and vitality you have to tackle life's challenges and pursue your goals. It's essential to recognize that self-investment doesn't always require grand gestures or massive investments of time and money. Sometimes it's about the small, consistent habits that make a big difference over time. Getting enough rest, saying no to things that drain you, taking time to relax, and seeking support when you need it. These actions, although seemingly simple, are powerful investments that create a foundation for long-term well-being. Emotional self-investment is another critical aspect of personal growth. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and neglect our emotional health, but taking time to reflect, process emotions, and engage in activities that nurture your emotional well-being is just as important as physical health. Practicing mindfulness, journaling, seeking therapy, or simply taking time for self-care can significantly enhance your emotional resilience. When you invest in your emotional health, you develop a deeper understanding of yourself and your needs, which in turn improves your relationships and overall happiness. In the pursuit of success, we often focus on external achievements, climbing the career ladder, building a business, or earning recognition, but we can easily forget that true success comes from within. Investing in your inner self, your values, and your personal growth helps you define what success truly means to you. It's about creating a life that reflects your authentic self, one where you feel connected to your purpose and confident in the choices you make. When you invest in yourself, you create a life that isn't defined by others' definitions of success, but by your own standards and desires. Ultimately, investing in yourself creates a sense of fulfillment that no external reward can match. When you prioritize your own growth, you feel more empowered, more capable, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. You realize that your dreams are achievable and that your potential is limitless. By nurturing yourself, you equip yourself with the tools and mindset to succeed in every area of life. The more you invest in yourself, the more you realize that you are the key to your own success. Self-investment is the foundation upon which all other success is built. Without it, you can't fully give to others or achieve lasting success. You must start with yourself. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the comparison game. Social media, constant updates, and the pressure to keep up with those around us often lead us to measure our worth against someone else's. We look at other people's successes, their achievements, their lives, and think that we should be in the same place or doing the same things. We begin to question our own path, doubting our progress, and wondering if we're falling behind. But the reality is that comparing your journey to someone else's is not only unfair to yourself, it's also entirely unproductive. Everyone's path is unique, shaped by different experiences, resources, challenges, and opportunities. What works for someone else may not work for you, and what they achieve doesn't diminish your own progress. When you focus on your own journey, you free yourself from the constant pressure of trying to keep up. You stop measuring your success by someone else's timeline and start embracing your own. You begin to realize that your progress is just that, your progress. It's not about how quickly you get there or whether your path looks like someone else's. It's about staying true to your own goals, dreams, and values. Everyone moves at their own pace, and there's no one-size-fits-all formula for success. The key is to recognize that your journey is just as valid as anyone else's, even if it looks different. One of the most freeing things you can do for yourself is stop comparing your progress to that of others. When you do this, you create space for your own growth without the pressure of meeting someone else's expectations. This allows you to fully embrace your own rhythm and pace. You stop focusing on what you don't have or where you're supposed to be and start acknowledging how far you've come and the unique steps you're taking to get to where you want to go. The act of comparison often stems from a place of insecurity or fear. When we look at someone else's accomplishments and feel inadequate, we are projecting our own doubts and self-criticisms onto their success. We convince ourselves that we are somehow less than, that we haven't done enough, or that we are running out of time. The truth is, comparison never serves us. It only undermines our self-esteem and distracts us from the real work that needs to be done, focusing on our own growth. By comparing ourselves to others, we allow their timelines, milestones, and outcomes to overshadow our own journey. This can prevent us from fully appreciating the steps we've already taken and the progress we've made. Rather than comparing your journey to others, shift your focus to the growth you've achieved. Celebrate the small wins, the lessons learned, and the resilience you've built along the way. Your story is unfolding in its own time, and that's something to be proud of. No two people have the same experiences or challenges, and your ability to navigate your unique obstacles speaks volumes about your strength and determination. What someone else has accomplished doesn't diminish the value of your own work. In fact, by focusing on your own journey, you can better appreciate the effort, persistence, and dedication you've put into creating your own path. It's also essential to recognize that the road to success is rarely linear. Everyone faces setbacks, failures, and obstacles. We often don't see the behind-the-scenes struggles that others face, especially when we're caught up in comparing ourselves to the highlight reel of someone else's life. While it may seem like someone is moving effortlessly toward their goals, they are likely facing challenges that you don't see. When you focus solely on what others are doing, you fail to acknowledge that their path has its own difficulties and complexities. By focusing on your own journey, you recognize that obstacles are part of the process, and you develop the resilience to face them head on. Another important factor to consider is that comparison often leads to dissatisfaction. When you are constantly looking at where others are, you miss the beauty of your own progress. You fail to recognize that your path has value and significance, no matter how different it might seem from someone else's. The moment you stop comparing, you start seeing things more clearly. You see your strengths, your unique qualities, and your potential. You embrace your journey as it is, with all its twists, turns, and detours. By focusing on your own path, you create a sense of peace and contentment with where you are in the process. You no longer feel pressured to achieve success according to someone else's timeline, and you begin to appreciate the lessons and growth that come with the journey. Choosing to focus on your own journey is an act of self-respect and self-love. It's about acknowledging that your experiences, struggles, and triumphs are all valid and worthy of recognition. By embracing your own path, you let go of unnecessary comparisons and embrace the uniqueness of your journey. You give yourself permission to move at your own pace, to celebrate your individual victories, and to learn from your own challenges. When you stop comparing your journey to someone else's, you unlock the freedom to live authentically and fully without the weight of external expectations dragging you down. When you focus on yourself and live authentically, something remarkable happens. You not only become the best version of yourself, but you also inspire others to do the same. There is an undeniable power in living your truth and making decisions that align with your own values and desires. It's not about being selfish or disregarding the needs of others, but rather about understanding that by prioritizing your own growth, happiness, and well-being, you create a ripple effect that positively impacts those around you. When you embrace your true self and pursue your dreams, you become a beacon of inspiration for others to follow. At the core of this idea is the concept that we cannot fully give to others unless we first give to ourselves. If we are constantly neglecting our own needs and focusing solely on others, we eventually run out of energy, passion, and motivation. We burn out. But when we invest in our own personal growth, self-care, and happiness, we replenish our own well-being, making it possible to pour more into the lives of those we care about. By focusing on your own journey, you are not only enhancing your life, but also setting the foundation for meaningful connections and relationships. Living authentically encourages others to do the same because it creates a space for vulnerability, honesty, and truth. When you embrace who you are, flaws and all, you give others permission to do the same. People are drawn to authenticity. They are inspired by those who are not afraid to be themselves, who don't seek to conform to the expectations of others. You show them that it's okay to step outside the box, to challenge norms, and to follow your own path, no matter how unconventional it may seem. When you live authentically, you create a culture of self-acceptance and empowerment that motivates others to reflect on their own lives and ask themselves, am I living the life I truly want? In this way, your journey becomes more than just about your own success. It becomes a source of inspiration for those around you. When people see you taking risks, following your passions, and living according to your own values, they begin to believe that they too can do the same. You show them that it's possible to create a life that feels fulfilling and true to oneself. In turn, they feel empowered to pursue their own dreams, unafraid to break free from societal pressure or the expectations placed on them. This ripple effect can extend beyond close friends and family. The people who witness your authenticity, whether in your personal life or your professional endeavors, are likely to be inspired by your actions. They may start questioning their own lives and considering how they can be more authentic in their own pursuits. You might even unknowingly encourage others to take the leap and follow their passions, making a difference in ways you may never fully realize. But living authentically also means being unapologetic about who you are. It's about recognizing that you don't need to seek approval or validation from others in order to feel worthy or successful. When you stop seeking external validation, you empower yourself to take bold steps toward your goals without worrying about how others perceive you. You become free to pursue your vision, even when it's different from what others expect or what the world tells you is right. By doing so, you inspire others to prioritize their own dreams and aspirations, giving them the confidence to step into their own power. Additionally, living authentically means accepting your imperfections. No one is perfect, and when you embrace your flaws, mistakes, and setbacks, you show others that it's okay to be imperfect. Perfection is an illusion, and when you let go of the pressure to be flawless, you allow yourself to grow and evolve in ways that are real and meaningful. This in turn encourages others to approach their own challenges with self-compassion and resilience rather than self-criticism or fear of failure. The more you show up as your true, imperfect self, the more others are likely to feel comfortable embracing their own imperfections. Your authenticity becomes a source of strength and inspiration. And the more you live in alignment with who you truly are, the more you create opportunities for connection and support. People who resonate with your authenticity will be drawn to you, creating a community of like-minded individuals who share similar values and goals. Together, you can build a network of encouragement, support, and motivation that strengthens everyone involved. Ultimately, when you focus on yourself and live authentically, you not only create a life that's meaningful and fulfilling for you, but you also become a role model for others. Your actions, choices, and mindset inspire those around you to embrace their own truths and pursue their own dreams free from the weight of others' expectations. In doing so, you contribute to a ripple effect that can spread far beyond your own circle, creating a world where people are empowered to live fully, authentically, and unapologetically. Living authentically and focusing on your own dreams doesn't mean isolating yourself or disregarding the people in your life. On the contrary, when you make the decision to follow your own path and embrace your true self, you're creating a space that allows for deeper, more genuine connections with others. The relationships that truly matter are the ones where both individuals are able to be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or expectation. By living for yourself and not for the approval of others, you create a magnetic energy that attracts people who resonate with your truth. These are the people who will support you in your growth, challenge you to become better, and celebrate your achievements without competition or comparison. Authenticity breeds trust and understanding, qualities that are the foundation of any meaningful relationship. When you are unapologetically yourself, you invite others to do the same. You no longer feel the need to wear a mask or act in a way that pleases others. In turn, you create a safe space for vulnerability, and this allows for deeper emotional connections. People appreciate honesty, transparency, and consistency. When you are true to yourself, you become a reflection of those values, and this creates a more genuine and fulfilling relationship dynamic. Moreover, focusing on your own journey and prioritizing your personal growth doesn't mean neglecting the needs of others. In fact, when you invest in yourself, you become a better partner, friend, or colleague. You show up with more energy, more compassion, and more clarity because you are taking the time to nurture your own well-being. You can only give to others what you have inside, and when you're not focused on filling yourself up, you risk becoming depleted and unable to support those who matter most. By taking care of yourself and investing in your growth, you are able to offer your best self to those around you, which ultimately strengthens the relationships you have. When you stop living for others and start living for yourself, you begin to make choices that are aligned with your values. Your decisions are no longer swayed by what others think or expect. This empowers you to pursue your passions and set goals that are meaningful to you. As you continue down this path, you will naturally surround yourself with individuals who share similar values and who support your vision. The people who truly care about you will respect your choices and admire your courage to follow your own path. These individuals won't try to change you or place limitations on what you can achieve. Instead, they will encourage you to be the best version of yourself and will celebrate your individuality. Focusing on yourself also helps you to better understand what you need from your relationships. By becoming more self-aware and in tune with your own desires and goals, you are able to communicate more effectively with others. You no longer rely on others to validate your choices or confirm your worth. Instead, you approach relationships from a place of confidence and clarity, knowing exactly what you need and what you can give in return. This leads to healthier, more balanced relationships where both individuals feel respected and valued. Living authentically and pursuing your own dreams can also create opportunities for shared growth. As you focus on your own path and dedicate time and energy to your personal development, you may inspire those around you to do the same. When people see you taking ownership of your life and chasing after what truly excites you, they begin to question whether they are living according to their own desires. You lead by example, and by showing up fully as yourself, you encourage others to do the same. This can create a ripple effect where each person in your circle becomes empowered to step into their own truth and pursue their own goals. At the same time, focusing on yourself doesn't mean you are abandoning your responsibilities or neglecting the people who rely on you. It's about striking a balance between caring for others and nurturing your own growth. You are still present, still supportive, and still committed to your relationships, but you do so from a place of abundance and authenticity. You are no longer sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others. Instead, you are leading with your true self, which only makes your connections more meaningful. By embracing your own journey and living authentically, you create the freedom to experience life to the fullest. You stop measuring your success by other people's standards and start defining it on your own terms. The people who are meant to be in your life will respect your choices, support your growth, and celebrate your achievements. They will see the value in your authenticity, and their respect and admiration will deepen as they witness your commitment to your own dreams. You will attract the kind of relationships that inspire you to keep going, to keep striving for your best self, and to continue living in alignment with your own truth.